Hi everyone, my name is John Busayo Timilola, and today we'll be looking at HTML. We're looking at the structures and what HTML really means. And to start with, I have a new folder here, new folder in which every file will be created. Now I have a new folder. Now me creating a new file, I can actually name it anything. But here I'm giving it a conventional name which is index.html. I can actually name this file, which is my HTML file, any name. I can give it any name. That is, for example, I can give it femi.html, or I can give it dog, dot what? I mean dog dot html. Now that actually what that actually shows my HTML name. Now the HTML at the end of this means it's actually the extension for what for my file. Yeah, what's the meaning of extension? Extension if I have something like JPG or any other is it JPEG or all this extension for images. So this extension actually points to the file you are actually working with. Here, I'm working with HTML. That's why I have .html. Please don't forget that. Thank you. Here, I won't make it doc.html. I can just make it beginner.html. Beginner.html. Or let me just make it index.html. It's still the same thing. .html. Thank you. Now this I've actually successfully create my HTML file. Now I'm to press enter. Now here, don't forget I said HTML is the structure, actually give the structure of your website. That is the architecture of your website. For example, when you want to build your house, you need an architect to give the plan and the structure of your house, right? Thank you. Same thing as whenever you want to build your website, you need HTML to give to actually dictate how the content will look like, the interaction. I mean, the structure of your words of your website. That's what HTML is actually doing for us in our HTML. Don't forget, HTML actually stands for Hypertext Markup Language. Hypertext what? That's Hypertext Markup Language. And HTML actually have a structure in every programming languages. We have uh, the logic in which we write these languages. The same thing actually apply to HTML. That is, it has its structure. Now that is, let's say the tree diagram or any other thing. That is, the first thing you need to know when you are dealing with HTML is what we call the tags. Same thing as when you are building your house. We use blocks to build our house. Thank you. That's same thing when you are building your HTML. That is, you need a tag that represents the building block of your website. Now, we have different tags we use in HTML. Now we have body tag. So we have these different tags we use in HTML depending on what you actually want to do. For example, if I want to write a text, I can use the H1 tag to write my text. For example, please John. Now, if I actually want to create something like I want to create a div, like a space, I can use a div. Don't worry, I'm going to explain all this as time goes on. Now, these tags actually correlate with their purpose. I mean, what we actually want to achieve in our website. Now, we have elements. What is elements? Elements is a combination of the closing tag, the content in the tag, inside the tag, and the closing tag. I said opening and closing tag, which is very, very important when you are dealing with what? When you are dealing with tag. That is, for example, if I have something like H1, if I have H1, or if I have a P tag, P tag is used for writing paragraph in HTML. If I have a P tag, now if you can actually see what is on my screen, here I have the opening tag. That is, we have an angle tag, angle bracket, followed by the P, by the tag that is P, followed by the closing angle bracket. Now, here between this, that's where I'm going to put my content. For example, I can put John. I can write John there. Now here is an element, a complete element, that is a opening tag, the content inside the tag, uh inside the tag, while we also have the closing tag. So we have the closing tag that actually represent the endpoint in our website. Now, here I'm going to give you a template of how our website, our HTML file ought to look like. So we have this. You can actually use a shift. Let me do it again. So we can actually use a shift with an exclamation mark to initiate our template within our HTML file. Or we can actually do something like that like this, that's DOC, to bring out the template. Now from this template, we can see that we have the HTML tag covering, housing all the content in our HTML, followed by the HTML, the head, what the head element. Here we can see in the at the head element we have um some contents, some lines of code here. Now, the first one is the meta, then we have the character set, UTF-8 or something like that. Here is the body, or the body tag. The body tag actually house every content I'm going to put on my website. For example, the H1, or the content. Maybe if I want to write anything on my website, if I want to put an image on my website. So this part of the website house every content you see on your website. For example, here on this browser, for example, if I actually browse anything, maybe Google dot anything, maybe fonts, Google font or anything. So here, everything you see on this website is being housed on what? On this body part of my website. Are you getting it? Now, so in my website, get easy to actually stack all these tags together. That is, whenever you want to write the first item, for example, if I want to write H1 in my H1, I want to write John. Now, immediately after John, the next content I want to write is, I can still use H1 or P tag. I want to write John. I want to write Femi or Femi. Now, just the same analogy as when you are building your house, you put different layers of block, different blocks on each other. Now, if we actually go to our website and see the result of what I just write now, it will be John on Femi. Now, that's how HTML actually stacks its content on each other. Now, we look at how we can actually write content on HTML. Now, let's see how we can actually view what we've written on our website in our browser. So we have two ways of doing that. But first, wait, I want you to look at this, please. Before you could do that, I want you to go to your file on your website. Yeah, file on your text editor. Click on your file. Now, I want you to go to this auto save. If you click on auto save, now that is immediately you click or you write something on your text editor, it will actually save automatically. But if you don't check this auto save, that is, you need to start saving your content every time you write a line of code in your text editor. So that's it. Now, the first way of displaying your content on your website is one, putting your mouse, your mouse on your HTML file. Click on it, right click on it, and come in and copy part. By copying part, now you are copying the part to your HTML. Now, if I mouse, or if I hover on my HTML file, here I have C. From C, I have user. From user, I have the next folder. From the next folder, I have the name folder. From the name folder, I have the name of my file there. Now, right clicking on my file, now copying parts. Now I have to copy parts, then go to my my browser. If I actually come to my browser here, now the link you copied, I mean the part you copied on your HTML file on your browser in your browser, then that's enter. Then we press enter. Now you can see I have what I have the content in my what in my website in my HTML file inside my browser. Here I have John, I have Femi. Are you getting it? Now that make it so easy for us to view our content in our HTML. Another way is to download an extension. To download an extension, we call the extension that's Live Server. That's Live Server. Live Server. Yeah, this you can download this extension. This so yeah, I think here I already have it installed on my system. That's why I don't need to install it again. But you can go ahead and install it on your system. So that's for what? That's for the basic of what HTML. Now, please, I want you to note something when you are dealing with HTML. Whenever you are on your file, please, I want you to as a beginner, sometimes you may find it difficult, or you not only find it difficult, but you may be tempted sometimes to actually put a content like this, to start writing content like this. I mean, start writing content like this on your text editor, which may actually show you the same thing. For example, now let me write the same thing I wrote on the normal template here. If I write John and I write, let me write okay, I write corn, corn, yeah. I write con or yeah, con. Let me write unique or let me just leave it as con. Now, if I actually come here, reload my website, I have what? I have John and I have con. Now, the same thing. You can see that I still have the same word, I still have the same content, but please don't be tempted. That's not how HTML actually works. Though you may see you may see the same result, but that's actually wrong. Please follow the basic rules when you are dealing with HTML. That is, one, though HTML may not actually yell any error at you, but as time goes on, you will actually see the error in your website. As I mean, the structure when when your website is not actually giving you the structure you actually need, or when a text or a container is actually stacking on each other unnecessarily. Don't worry, we are going to see more of this when time goes on. I mean, yeah, as this class continues. So now let's go back to the normal template. So yeah, I have here and I have what? Don't forget, the first thing to actually write is what? Your HTML tag. The next one is your what is the next one is the HTML, the head tag, followed by what? Followed by the body tag. Now you can see how we actually put each one of them on each other. Inside each other, we have the HTML tag, HTML tag. Inside the HTML tag, I have the head part of my website. That's the head part in which all links will be what will be added. Now inside the head, immediately after the head part, I have the body part. The body part in which all the contents will be what of the website will be found. Please don't forget that in what in HTML. Now, but if you want to get the normal template, you can just what you can just write doc and what. Now, the difference between writing doc and the shift and exclamation is now you can see that when I write. Let me write it again. If I write doc, I won't see a line of code that actually specify the doc type HTML here on my template. But let me write that again. If I click on shift then exclamation, then I have if I now yeah, I have doc type. Now this doc type is actually specifying the type of document I'm dealing with. Now you can see I have doc type, which is what which is HTML. Though you may think it doesn't have an implication, but it still have it has its own what it has its own meaning. I mean definition in our what in our on our website. So now I think by now we should know how to actually deal with tags. I mean what tag really is in HTML, and how we actually make structure of our HTML file, starting from our HTML tag, followed by inside it. Now we have the head tag. Now immediately after the head tag we have the body tag. Now the body tag actually houses every content we have in our we have on our website, every content we have on our website. Now please don't forget that when you are dealing with HTML, case sensitive is not really the a problem. For example, um, if I have something like H1, I have H1, I write John in my H1. Then that's here you can see I'm writing with capital. I write this with uppercase, or as you can see, um maybe uppercase. We can call it uppercase and what maybe capital letter. It's still the same thing. Or if I want to write it with lowercase or small letter, here we have H1 John. Now, if you go back to our website, we are going to see reload. We are going to see the almost the same that's the same content in my in my website. We are going to see the same content in my website. So I don't want to start refreshing. So all I need to do is now, all I need to do is go to this part of my website and make sure you are on your HTML file, then go live. Here, just click on go live on the down part of your website. You can see if you have actually installed the extension I asked you to install the other time. That's the live server. Now, if you come here, you are going to see, I mean, on your in your I mean in your text editor. Now you are going to see, if you come here, you're going to see something called that's the go live. If you click on the go live, now it restarts and help you to project your website. Yeah, now you are running on a what? Yeah, you are running on a local host on your website. Thank you. Now, if I actually put any content here, I don't need to start refreshing. It will automatically it will automatically reflect on my website. So if I actually say something like um, go, or something like and come, go and come. So if I go to my website, I'm going to see that automatically on my website. I don't need to start refreshing and refreshing and refreshing on my website. So that's that's some of the important, I mean, some of the advantages of VS Code over other text editors. Now, what about what do we have another thing we call tags. I've explained tags. I've explained elements. Now, what we have different type of tags. The same as we have different type of blocks when we are building your house. Now we have different sizes of block for different purpose, right? Thank you. That's the same thing when you are dealing with HTML. HTML file. So we have different tags for different purpose. For example, we have the heading tag. For example, you can remember when you are writing, maybe if you are writing a file, a document, should I say, yeah, the header part of your of your documents is always big. That's the, let me say, should I say the topic, or topic of your uh title, yeah, let me say title of your document is always something somehow bigger than the other part of your document. So now we can use same thing as, I think we have the same thing um on Microsoft Word. Yes, we have the same thing on Microsoft Word. Now on HTML, how we write that, we use that's a heading, head, heading, 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 and we have different different tags for that heading. We have H1 to H6. We have H1 to H6. H1 to H6. Now, if I start with H1 and write something like John, can actually write, okay, now that's for H1, that's we have H2. Now we are going to see the difference. That's we have John for H2. For H3 we also have what? We also have John. For H4 We also have, sorry, we have for H4, we also have what? We also have John. Thank you. For H5, say we also have John. For H6, we also have John. Now, if you look at this, if you go to our website, we are going to see the same John but with different size. Why? Because we are actually choosing different heading to what to write all this content. So if I come to my website here, I have John. Now we have six content. We have the same content here. That's the same John, but here we have different size of what John. Now we can see that we have John, which is this one is written with H1, this one is written with H2, this one is written with H3, this one is written with H4, this one is written with H5, and why this one is written with H6. Now we can actually see the size actually decrease downward from H1 to H6, from H1 to H6. Now that's dealing with what? Dealing with headings in HTML. Now that is, for example, if I want to write something like if I want to write a text for my heading, if I want to write a text on maybe the title of my document, what do you think I'm going to use to write that? I'm going to use H1 to write that. Maybe I can just say title, title, title. Now after the title, what do you think I can use to write the content? Let me say H6. Now, after the title, I can now say my name, my name, my name is John Busayo. Busayo. My name is John Busayo. My name is John Busai. So if you go to our website here, we are going to see that's title. My name is John Busai. Now you can see the difference. Here I have big text. While here I have the small text. This one is written with the H1, while this one is written with the H6 to actually differentiate the difference between the different tags in what that's different between the head part that's head tags in HTML. We also have another tag we use to write text, that's the paragraph tag, that's P tag. Here I have P tag. Here I can actually use it to write different items. Now the size is almost the same thing as H5 to H6, but the difference here is in P tag the text is not as bold as H5 and H6. And then let's look at that. If I have the same content as this, if I have my name is John, my name is John Busayo. So if I come to my website, I'm going to see my name is John Busayo, though it's bigger than H6, but you can see the text is not as bold as what? It's not as bold as H6. H6, that's the default way of what? Of writing, of dealing with paragraph and header tags in HTML. We also have link. Don't worry, we are going to talk about attributes later in the course, but we have link. And how do we write link in HTML? We have the anchor tag. That's A. We have the anchor tag. So any item, I mean any content I actually write here. So I can just write go to my website. Go to my website. If I have go to my website here, I you can see now it looks like a link. Even over on it, I have something like my hand showing, like the hand is actually showing that something is moving from one place to another. That is, you want to click a link. Are you getting it? So now we can actually see that we've talked about the heading tag in HTML. We've talked about the P tag in HTML, and now we are actually on the